Hey, what's up, everybody? It's just Charles Sabanson, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things that now we see. And today we have a hell of a show in store for you guys. Before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Well, folks, it has started. The official commencement of training camp will be, Media Day will be on September 30th, and then I think we have training camp, and then we have in October the preseason. And I know a lot of us are excited to finally get back to basketball, and we just cannot wait, right? And why is that? Because not just because of the games, but also because of the storylines. And no one makes more headlines when it comes to the NBA than one LeBron James. Like, no one does more than him. So what happened? This morning, I was going through the internet and I came across a very interesting article, and it's from fadeawayworld.net, and it had the following headline: Kwami Brown, old school players wouldn't have trouble with LeBron James at 39. Now, let's get into the backstory, because usually you don't see NBA players kind of talking about other NBA players like this. But as you guys know, Kwami initially came on the scene when he had the back and forth with Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson, and they had that big thing. And by the way, Steven Jackson just recently issued a public apology to Kwami Brown, which I think was a good thing. So he had that there. And then I think there was a time when he did a show where he was talking about LeBron's skill set or something like that. And then it made its way on Undisputed, and then Shannon Sharp called out Kwami Brown, and then they had that, and really that's where it went from there, right? Kwami's position was, look, there's some guy, he said that there are guys out there that are saying that LeBron is the GOAT and all of this is compared to Jordan, and he was saying that he only believes that these guys are saying this because they want to be on TV or they want to get deals and all of that. And he's just basically saying that real NBA guys don't believe that. That's always been his position, right? And it's caused some NBA fans to kind of turn on him like, oh, you're a LeBron hater and all of that. So that's the background to this story. But when I came across this article and I was reading his comments, I'm like, man, we definitely have to react to some of this stuff that Kwami Brown is saying. And that's exactly what we're about to do today. But before we even get into what Kwami had to say, today's sponsor is PrizePicks. PrizePicks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. PrizePicks makes it easy to get real money action on sports and players you love. Pick more or less on 2 or more players in any sport to win up to 100 times your entry fee. For example, here's a possible winning player projection lineup: Tyreek Hill for more than 90 receiving yards and Dak Prescott for more than 263 passing yards, Josh Allen for less than 240 passing yards, and CB Lamb for more than 96 receiving yards. And if you're like me and you want to play safe, you will love the new features PrizePicks invented: Flex Plays. Flex Pays are the safest way to play PrizePicks. You can still make a profit or win some money back even if a couple of your picks don't hit. On top of this, PrizePicks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. So download the PrizePicks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code CLNS on PrizePicks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. And remember, whenever you support this sponsor, you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So let's continue on with this article. It says, Kwami Brown made some comments about LeBron James recently to switch cultures. Brown noted that at 39 years old, James is not the player that would create any trouble for players of previous eras. With the loss of his athleticism, Brown noted that James hasn't improved other aspects of his game to adapt. The old school players wouldn't have had any trouble with LeBron because at 39, he should have developed a mid-range and a post game, and he still hasn't yet. His game really hasn't evolved outside a three and putting his head down and going to the basket. He doesn't go like Paul Pierce, getting to a spot, pulling up. Those are things you normally would see of other superstar players. These comments from Kwami make no sense if you just consider LeBron James' stats from last season. James averaged 25.7 points per game, 8.3 assists, 7.3 rebounds last season while shooting 54% from the field and 41% from the three-point line. He made 65% of those shots within the paint and 32.7% from the mid-range. Brown hasn't been the most positive or objective person when it comes to LeBron James as of recent. He also attempted to give LeBron's son, Bronny James, a harsh reality about the life of the NBA. And then the article then goes on to say one or a few other things. Okay. Let me just respond to that part, because initially what I read was Kwami's quotes. I didn't read what the rest of the article had to say there, right? It says, these comments make absolutely no sense. And then they now went off to read LeBron's stats. I think whoever wrote this article probably doesn't understand what the hell is going on. Kwami was not talking about LeBron's stats. He was talking about basically airdropping LeBron James into a previous era. And what he was saying was the things that he does today successfully, like drive to the basket and do that, he said he wouldn't be able to do that with the same regularity because, number one, the spacing would be gone, number one. In the past, you had a traditional power forward who's like 6'9", 6'10", and then you had a center. Those two big bodies clogging up the lane. So you don't have that space to go there. Number two, the floor wasn't as spread out where you had shooters all over the floor, stretching the floor, making it much easier to get to the basket. And number three, you were able to be a little bit more physical. So in the past, because LeBron did play in the past, he would overwhelm teams with his physicality and his athleticism. And Kwame is saying, given the fact that his athleticism has waned to a considerable degree, although he's still athletic in his latter years, at 39 years old, he will not be as effective as he is today back then. So the writer who read off those stats, that stat line is absolutely pointless because those stats are coming from today's era with today's rules. Instead, what the writer should have done is apply what Kwame was saying, take this LeBron, put him in that era, and then give us a projection of what you think his numbers would be. That's a better way to kind of summarize Kwame Brown's statements in my personal view. Now, as the article did say, some people are going to say that Kwame Brown is a hater. He's being critical of LeBron James and all of that. That's par for the course. Most people are going to say that. Most people are going to say that Kwame is hating and all of that. But if we look at his comments objectively, I think that LeBron has found a way to adapt his game to this NBA in the sense that I'm going to focus on his three-point shooting. He's found a way over time to slowly improve his three-point shooting. His free throw shooting has pretty much been the same as it always been, always around 70%. He still drives to the basket. So to the points that Kwame was pointing out in terms of a mid-range, a post-game, there's truth to that. It's one of the reasons why a lot of NBA fans, when we talk about players with a bag, they don't really consider LeBron to be in that category. LeBron has other attributes, but when it comes to his bags and his moves, they don't really consider that, right? They don't really consider him. They're focusing on other players. They're talking about Kobe. They're talking about Jordan, Kevin Durant, those type of guys. So that's the standpoint. So what Kwame is saying is that if you didn't have those skill sets when your athleticism waned, you wouldn't be successful when your athleticism disappears. I think that's the point that he makes. But I'm going to hand it over to the audience. What are your thoughts on this? What's your take on this entire situation? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We'll catch you guys on the next show.